Okay. So the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
So many
Woo!
levels.
I am Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Nobilis as Cuspid.
Hi there. Remember to floss.
David Archambault as Kneecap.
Our moving?
Lee Burdett as Malleus.
All right. Books. Where to start?
Jason Banks as Radius.
At some point, I will curse someone to have all their bacon burn.
And last but not least, Paul Weimer as Tarsus.
Designation Tarsus. Location Castle Likaru. Eventual destination Rome.
Okay, so when last we left our heroes, actually, I'm adjusting things on the layout just a little bit because I've got some overlapping in a way that I didn't want there to be, and I don't know why it's... All right, anyway, here we are. When last we left our heroes, collectively known as the Skeleton Crew, you had pursued on a tip from a casino owner and God knows what else named Shemeshka that there was a Modron named Rome who was similarly afflicted by a reality distorting glitch that had fled into the Outlands, and that if you wanted to know what happened to you and maybe do something about it, that was perhaps your best lead, especially given that it seemed that the authorities in Sigil wanted to just arrest you for crimes against reality. So you made your way to the Outlands, this strange shifting landscape that includes gate towns for each of the many outer planes. And you found a walking castle that was not walking at that moment because it had been assailed by various demonic attackers. And you fought them off and rescued the Githzerai woman who lived there named Zathir. And she revealed, once you had saved her, that she seemed to have some familiarity with you, perhaps the you that existed before you lost your memories and became reality glitched. She has offered the castle to you as a base of operations for your journey ahead. You also found a mysterious mimir, which is a floating skull-shaped memory storage device. You'd been told that this mimir or rather, you were looking for a mimir that was going to have a lot of information about the Great Modron March. You think that's all tied into whatever Rome the Modron is doing. You found one that is broken here in the castle. And you discovered all of this. You were told that the castle is now at your disposal. You're here in the Outlands. What would you like to do?
Well,
Kneecap's gonna tug on Zathir's robes. Say, found Mimir. Is related?
Related to what, my friend?
Rome and job.
Oh, yes, quite. That was Rome's mimir. He left it here because he said he had all of the information that he needed from it. So if you need the information that Rome had, I suspect that mimir would be a good way to find out where he went.
I'm gonna turn to whoever picked it up because I know it's either Tarsus or Cuspid. See,
I don't know that you did pick it up. I think you talked about
I-
like saving it and or letting.
I
you know,
thought Malleus had it.
You talked about giving it to Malleus or telling Malleus about it, but no steps. You have literally so Malleus and Radius are literally downstairs in the library. Have not even met Zathir yet.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
so
Oh, let's say I had picked it up. That makes things simpler.
okay. So I'll go up to Tarsus and say, Mimir, give.
I would take out the Mimir and offer it to my barbarian gnome friend.
So, as a reminder, this is a skull that seems to have been made out of various different colors and textures of glass in a mosaic pattern, which is not a typical construction for a Mimir, because usually they are literally skulls, not just look like skulls. But this one also seems to be partially smashed and non-functional.
Take it and then gather it carefully and run to the stairs, run down and and run to Malleus and say, Fix! Fix cool!
Uh,
Well, I could certainly try.
Mm-hmm.
While that's happening,
Mm-hmm.
Cuspid mumbles something about noticing that no one seems to have volunteered to clean anything here, and is going to go start handling the blood stains and corpses and such like that are currently littering the floors of the castle.
Hmm.
Um, uh, and just carting things down to the stairs and throwing them overboard,
Sure.
and then using prestidigitation to wipe away the various effluvia that
Okay.
death produces, and that's probably going to take a while.
Very nice. So I will go ahead and remove the dispatched Mezzoloth and Tiefling bodies that were laying around. So Malleus, you take a look at this. I said glass, but it does seem to include portions of it made out of gold, silver, jade, and onyx as well. It is obviously broken. Like, I mean, just superficially, you can just look at it and see that it's broken, but it's also not working. So there's perhaps the superficial appearance of it, but then there's also like how to have it actually do what it needs to do again, right?
Mhm.
So if you would you be sitting down to see if you can try to fix it?
Yeah.
I will need you basically to spend an hour doing that, and then
Mhm.
we'll have you make a check to see
Okay.
how that goes. So if you just
Alrighty.
set yourself down at a desk, pull out your tools and
Mhm.
so on.
Yep.
Okay.
Crack
And
the
I'm
knuckles.
gonna, during this time, Kneecap is going to, through some words and illusions, tell what we found upstairs
Okay.
and that Zathir and Stay Castle. It moved.
Yeah, so Malleus and Radius, you certainly would have been aware, you would have felt the movement of the castle as it stood up.
Yeah. Is anybody getting castle sick? Do we need to make a constitution roll for that?
If you want. I think the Castellan is a pretty smooth driver, This
Okay.
is,
I'm just looking at this thing with 6 legs, and it's like,
yeah.
okay, there's got to be some lurching involved.
Well, maybe this is just to tie in my own personal experience riding around in various buses in Europe. There are some incredible drivers of large vehicles that have these big, seemingly unwieldy buses that they manage to fit into places that it doesn't seem like there would be physical space for them.
Hmm.
So, you know,
Yes, I have had that experience as well.
yeah.
And they usually do it a whole lot faster than you think they should.
So, in any case, though, yes, now with Kneecap filling you in, you are
Yeah.
kind of aware of the broader situation that there's, you know, the enemies are dispatched. You have recovered a Githzerai occupant of the castle who seems to be the owner, question mark? She seems to act that way at least, and she
Mhm.
has allowed you to stay.
Possession is 9/10 of the law, and she possesses it because she can run that castellan. So
Mm-hmm.
She can make it move.
she can
I'm
make it
not gonna
move.
argue. Not gonna argue.
So, so Malleus gets to work trying to repair the Mimir. I think up back in, you know, and so while Cuspid is cleaning, I think that's just Tarsus up there with
Ye-
Zathir.
Yeah, and I'm go yeah, and Tarsus wants to talk to Zathir and
Mhm.
find out more about the castle, what our previous relationship was, and is there any besides the obviously broken Mimir, which might be a clue, is there anything else we might be of use here for us to figure out where to find Rome? Because the Outlands is a big place.
It is a big place, and I'm afraid I couldn't tell you anything that would be more useful than the Mimir. I know that Rome was looking for, if not the main march itself, there was some split off component of the march that he was following for reasons that he kept close to his rather round vest, so to speak. And I know that he had been following them for some time, but believed that he knew just where to go now that he had completed it. So it's a shame to see that the Mimir was damaged when those ruffians attacked. I can't help but wonder if they simply were careless or if perhaps destroying it was part of their objective. I had the impression that they wanted to seize the castle for their own use, so it may have been simply an accident, but the destruction of such a valuable piece of information storage is certainly uh, a significant loss. I do hope some of it can be recovered at least.
Would you know of any locations in the Outlands where if our power should fail that we might effect such a partial recovery or full recovery of the Mimir?
Well, certainly Automata is, and she can, here, I'll put you back on the Outlands map because she's gesturing
Yep.
to the map that the Castellan displays. And so you can see there's a little "you are here" walking castle hologram on the map.
Mhm.
But she points out Automata, which is up kind of at 9:30 on the clock, so to speak. She
The gate
says,
town for Mechanus.
yes, indeed. Automata is the gate town for Mechanus, which is where the Modrons come from, you see. That's where the Great Modron March begins from and returns to eventually when it completes. And so I can only imagine that it must have some kind of a connection to what's happening. And I know that Rome would have some connection to it there. But Mimirs are not inherently of Mechanist derivation.
No, I gather I was just looking for a potential place where we might repair the Mimir of our own talents, which, as you see, as you have noted, we are much diminished, may not be up to the task.
Well, Mimirs are existing technology, after all. I think if you were to speak with any artificer or arcanist or enchanter of sufficient skill, they ought to be able to help repair it. But there is repairing the physical structure, which may not be the same thing as recovering all of the information it once held.
Indeed.
So while that conversation is happening,
Yep.
what are you getting up to, Radius?
I would like to actually look through the books in the library because I want to see what I if I can figure out what they were studying and potentially gone off to go do.
Well, so as previously established, the library here is, you know, tomes, scrolls, tablets, and folios cram the towering shelves. Ancient wooden table surrounded by matching benches stands at the center. This is a library where the majority of the works focus on esoteric philosophies of the outer planes and multiversal theories. Based on, make an investigation check.
16.
Yeah. So, you, based on what you kind of saw the attackers doing, get the impression that they're not big readers. So the people that were attacking don't seem like they were here for the library.
I wonder what they were here for.
I mean, you all have a great big walking castle base now. It might
Yeah,
be that they just wanted a big walking castle base.
who doesn't want?
Fair.
I mean, I'm not there, but consider that the deep the fiend pointed out that good luck getting the castle to do what you want. It's clear that's what they wanted it to do. They
Well,
wanted control of it.
I will remind you, you never really found out why, but there was also a point where they were trying to figure out who among you were spellcasters, and there was a point where they did try to take one of you prisoner instead of killing them.
Yes, that's at the cusp. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we'll see our fiend friend for Squeeps Week.
Maybe.
Oh boy, I just dated myself with that reference.
But no, if that's the case, then I will go and find our wonderful artifice, sir, and see if I can assist them with this thing. Seeing as it's our
Sure.
direct,
Yeah.
seeing as it's probably the only way we're going to find out
Yeah.
anything.
Do you have proficiency in Arcana?
I do.
Well, then I will allow, once the hour is up, I will allow Malleus to roll that Arcana check with advantage,
Indeed.
thanks to your assistance. And maybe even have it go a little faster. But so if the two of you were working on that, what Kneecap, once you kind of conveyed to Radius and Malleus, are you just watching them try to fix it, or?
Well, one of these doors was smashed in, right?
Yes.
One of the sets of doors. I'm gonna go and try and fix it
Okay.
the best I can without any tools. Like get the door in place. Try and get the door in place, and so that if it were to rain, rain won't come. Nothing will catch
Sure.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
can
think
actually
what
see-
check that makes sense to be. Carpet.
I
So
can actually see you trying to make use of like some of Malleus's larger tools, like his crowbar and
yeah.
hammer.
So how about this? Make a dexterity check and an intelligence check for me.
Okay, just straight dex is 18,
Okay.
and intelligence is a 15.
Oh, yeah, see. So I think that what you are able to do with the pieces of the door is you are able to essentially reconstruct a closed door with the pieces. The problem is just that if you tried to open the doors now, it would kind of just fall apart again because they're not together.
Held together.
But you kind of managed to jigsaw puzzle the broken pieces back into place so that it's functional as a closed door instead of a wide open doorway. But the door is not functional. It's just now no longer wide open. Probably with more time and some proper tools,
No.
you might, it could be, I think broadly it's an improvement. It's pretty,
Me too.
Needs glue. Yeah. Um, needs duct tape.
Yeah.
Um,
And I do believe I wrote a message on the sarcophagus,
mhm.
which since I know that the owner is here, I'm gonna go and erase
Okay.
that.
um. Yeah. Okay. Do you go and ask her about the mummy?
I think I will, yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's any glue.
Okay. I think that well, yeah. So let's just give.
So
What are those
go
questions in what order?
ah, that glue?
Glue.
Door broken. That glue?
Oh, I don't think I have ever bothered with glue.
One
I
of the doors
don't
is
think
smashed.
so. Oh, the door smashed. Well, if you give it a little time, I think the Castellan ought to be able to repair that.
Oh.
I didn't realize that was part of its duties.
Well, it's not a duty so much as like if you cut your finger, is it your duty to heal it?
Ah. The different colored eyes kind of like glow in recognition, like, oh, I figured that out now. Thank you.
Huh. And and mummy, what for?
Oh, that's the librarian, darling.
Librarian. We'll talk?
Well, so to speak, it is actually Ledcaru's first caretaker, the Githzerai scholar Laxilu. Um, However, I'm afraid that Laxilu is quite dead. However, they enchanted their own bodies in such a way that they could continue to help share the knowledge that they had accumulated in their collection. And so, at present, they're not able to contribute very much short of this very specific function, which is if you are in the library and you speak your desire for a request or a book or a scroll on any particular topic, the mummy's eyes will magically move to look in the right direction, you see. If it's present. It doesn't have everything.
That is extremely useful information. Kneecap, you should inform Malleus immediately.
I'm gonna on getting that, I'm gonna go to and say first great modern march.
So the mummy is there and it goes, it opens his eyes, and the eyes are made of brass, and then the brass eyes first look down, and then further down, and then see you, then look off in one direction.
I'll look towards that direction and scramble to it.
There's a bunch of books over there.
I'm gonna just look at the titles.
Okay. Is Kneecap able to read them? I think we'd questioned this
Yeah,
previously.
I mean, like he's got a +1 intelligence. So
Okay, sure then. All right, yeah.
it's just like he's not a scholar.
No,
by any means.
that's fine. I think we had asked that question before. So yeah, so I think you can look at the titles. And what I'm going to tell you right now as a DM is that you see a variety of books about various outer planes. One of them is about Mechanus.
I will go. That one looks appropriate, so I'll grab it and start looking through it.
Surprisingly enough, as excellent as this adventure is, it does not have a list of all of the hundreds of different book titles that are in the library.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, if you want to read this book, that's gonna take a while. It's not like
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
you can sit for several hours and do an investigation check if you like. It's not gonna just immediately spit out a factoid.
Sure, I'll sit for a time.
All right. Now you do get to make I believe if you spend an hour researching it here, you can make an intelligence check with advantage to get the information you're looking for. But you spend an hour
Sure,
doing it.
I'll do that.
All right.
Well, probably get Malleus and Tarsus
One-
first.
Okay.
One thing at a time. One thing
Yeah.
at a time.
Well, so Tarsus, unless you had anything else specific, we can imagine that perhaps you and Zathir are just kind of studying the map, and we can go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Tarsus is not quite glued to Zathir, but
Mhm.
might find Zathir as a useful piece of information. Not to mention, Tarsus is our ranger, so places and distances and where we're going is kind of Tarsus's deal. So yeah,
Nice.
so I'm definitely.
Meanwhile, Cuspid is kind of sweeping through each room and kind of like, move your feet. All right. Prestidigitation with the blood away. So as you have worked and used your tools to reassemble the broken pieces of this Mimir Malleus, let's go ahead and have an Arcana check with advantage because of Radius's assistance.
Okay, first roll of the night, I think. Please don't jinx it. Oh,
Well, look
25.
at that. That's pretty
Nice.
good. That's pretty good. That is certainly sufficient. So this Mimir, you have reassembled it. It looks presumably as complete as it did before, given its mosaic nature. And then when you sort of fit it all into place and you give it a command word, it sort of and then it begins to float as a Mimir is designed to do. And so what I'll say is you can now, if whoever wants to, can put this Mimir in their inventory. It is spelled Mimir. However, right now, what you discover as you are kind of setting it through its boot up diagnostics is that it does not currently have the features that a Mimir usually would have. Where is the
I'll go ahead and put that
Yeah.
in my inventory.
Yeah, so a Mimir usually it has a variety of different things but it also has the features esoteric knowledge and planar knowledge. That's what a Mimir usually does. Those are not functional on this one. As you have got it activated, you discover, to whatever feelings you might have about it, that it does seem that the primary thing that is stored in it is sort of calibration data for all of the gate towns and their portals to the outer planes. However, due to the damage, it has lost the data for 7 of those gate towns, and that cannot be recovered. Basically, that data is lost, and until it has that data restored, it has not got access to its higher functions.
Ooh,
Okay. So we need to go to those. So it's 7 towns that it's missing?
Yes, and specifically it is. Here, let me put you back on that map because I'm about to read you a bunch of gate town names.
And I'm about to type them in.
Yeah.
So am I.
All right. So
List of places to go.
let me try to get it where the map will zoom on all of them. So what you discover is that it is missing its data on the gate towns of Automata, Cursed, Excelsior, Faunil, Glorium,
Hold on.
Rigus. Okay.
All right. So I got Automata, Cursed.
Excelsior,
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Glorium,
Mm-hmm.
Rigus,
Uh-huh.
and Sylvania. And
One of those towns is very conveniently close to us.
Yes, it is.
Well,
It's also a
Well,
place that could be a very
distances being as malleable as they are in the outlands, perhaps.
relatively.
Well,
also
it's
a
it's
It's
dangerous
true.
closer
one.
to
Seems
us
that
than
way.
Excelsior.
Yeah, it is true that distances can be variable here, but it is also true that if you're going to walk in the direction of one, you're more or less closer to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you have basically, I'll go ahead and say now is like this pretty much confirms that this is the Mimir you were looking for, but unfortunately, because it got smashed, it's missing some of the data, and that data being missing is preventing access to its like higher level conclusions. So, but you think that if you were you also with that 25, you know that uh, the way to restore the data for those gate towns would be you would need to take it within 5 feet of the gate town's portal, and someone who is attuned to the Mimir must record a description of the location and their impression of it for a full minute, and then that sort of reestablishes it. However, I'll also just point out that recall that what Shemeska's whole plan with this thing was that she had the theory that the Modron March was essentially to gather data for which to recalibrate the cosmos, right?
Mhm.
And so if you knew what data they were going to use to recalibrate it, you could maybe make predictions about what might change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you recognize that the gathering information process is inherently subjective. And so what that means is that, the way the Modron March is designed to do it is the Modrons do it from their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are going to try to replicate that information, it's possible that you could shape what information goes in there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if we went there, went to the area and been like and asked around like, hey, when the Modrons came through here, what kind of things were they saying? Is there any?
Or even more generally, just the fact of Malleus's personality would change the data because Malleus is not a Modron.
Yeah.
Right. And so like so the issue essentially you think is that would not interfere with the ability to, like, once you have data for those 7 gate towns, it should still be able to complete its program and tell you where it thought they were, where the Modron March went, right? Which is where you think Rome must have gone. But at the same time, it's a matter of saying, like, you're just recognizing that the process of collecting the information is inherently subjective, and what gets stored in the Mimir will be based on whoever is doing that task, what they say and what they describe as them seeing it. So for example, if you went to a nice place and said it was a dump, the Mimir would record that as being the truth of that place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's designed for someone to do it from a passionless, emotionless perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but the
Lawful.
nature of the technology does not require that.
Right.
Yeah. So in any
Yeah.
case, you now have figured out, and I'm giving you just I'm skipping some pieces of this just because you rolled so high. Which is, you just basically know now that if this is the one you were looking for, unfortunately can't be used in its current state, but could be fixed all the way if you do that data collection process to those remaining 7 towns. Adventure.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's almost like
On so many
it's
levels.
supposed to make an adventure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
Laundry
I
list. You have to collect the 7 thingies.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I
Well, you know, it's not the most imaginative structure I've ever seen, but it's not terrible.
yeah. And
you
since
know
we're close
talk
by,
about
So,
how you can shape things, but with description, it's like I could almost imagine like that is how a new portion of the multiverse would create. Like
Hmm.
you you know
and
that's
that's,
like
yeah, and
power like gives
that's
their
like,
impression of how it connects to the Outlands. And
and that's a standard feature of the Outlands for a long time, was that it's, it is shaped by the behaviors of the people who live there.
Hmm. Well, and not only that, but part of what goes on at these gate towns is that it is the area that is closest to its tide outer plane. But if the landscape at that town were to ever become too similar to that outer plane, it would just get sucked out of the Outlands into that outer plane and become part of it. So it's kind of the nature of the people in the town are going to try to make it either more or less like that outer plane, depending on whether they want that to happen or not.
Mhm.
and
Yep.
and and then get replaced by something even more bizarre.
Yeah. The Outlands has a lot of bizarre to supply that has not run out yet. So, in any case, I think you're able to share that information with everybody. Since Kneecap was researching, how about you go ahead and make an intelligence check with advantage?
okay. A 5.
Okay. That's
Oh.
with advantage?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that you find this book um, on Mechanus. It's like reading a programming textbook. It just like it's extremely dry, and it's just full of a lot of just like extended logic proofs and sort of thing, and it's basically just as you're trying so hard to read it and find the parts about the march and get something useful out of it, you just like you keep realizing, wait, what was I doing? Oh, right, I've read this page 5 times already. And it's impossible to.
Mhm.
So right now, at least, you are really struggling to glean anything useful from it. You suspect, like, for the right reader, this would be just the best. But right now, it's just
Yeah.
it's not your vibe, man.
While what Cuspid's cleaning, her the way her prestidigitation manifests is that the end of her staff looks like a glittering uh mop head and or broom bristles and or whatever implement is appropriate to the thing. So she's just kind of, you know, cleaning things
She's
up with the
Swiffering.
end of her staff. What? She's
She's
hoovering, yeah,
Swiffering.
Swiffering. And so she witnesses this whole conversation about the needing to visit these different gate towns, and um, she says, "Well, given that of all of them, Cursed is likely to be the most unpleasant, and it's also the closest. How about we start with that? Just get it over with."
Mhm.
I concur. I've been Tarsus will explain he's been studying the map and trying to reacquaint himself with the geography of the Outlands. I mean that he as
Now,
best he can. And I think a generally counterclockwise approach to the great towns might be the most efficient path.
possibly, but how fast does this thing move? This is we have some significant distances to cover, and
Given the
I
given
can't
the
imagine that a
relative,
walking castle moves terribly fast.
Are you bringing, is this like a group discussion with everybody now, including like
Mhm.
Zathir?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah. Well, ask Zaith there. How long would it take us to get around the entire outlands in this castle?
Well, that's a complicated question. I can tell you that the castle can walk at the rate of 12 miles per hour. It cannot walk faster, it cannot walk slower. It can walk 12 miles an hour, and it can stop. Uh, it is That's not the difficult part of the question. Rather, it is the changing nature of the outlands that complicates how long it would take to get from any given point A to any given point B. But I would say, broadly speaking, if we were to travel to Kirst from right now, that would be presumably a day or so. It's not too far from here. It is the closest of the gate towns to us presently. However, if we were to try to go from here to something on the other end of the outlands, Excelsior or something, that could be several weeks. And that's depending on whether or not we run into anything surprising.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But are you in a hurry, or?
I suppose, well, I mean, I suppose as long as we're not going back to Sigil, we're not in a hurry. There are some people there who don't like us. I'm a little worried about them showing up and still wanting to arrest us.
I
Or
think
worse, because of our a multiversal fractured nature.
it does seem like a problem. I think to some extent, being out of the city will at very least have the heat will be lowered a bit because there's not so much that you're directly impacting with your thing, your
Our fractured
Yeah.
nature. Yes.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Affirmative.
So certainly the Lady of Pain is going to be highly interested, as well as any of the other factions, the Harmonium, etc., if you're in the city, disrupting their affairs. But here in the Outlands, it's pretty much, you know, anything goes in a lot of respects. That's not to say that everyone will be thrilled to come across you, but I don't know that you'll have as much of a problem with bounty hunters.
Well, I guess that's a difficulty we'll deal with if we encounter it.
Also, I'm not promising they won't send anyone after you. Yeah, you know,
No.
I've gotten to my age by letting things happen and saying, "Huh, I guess that happened."
And we're better off in a
Wise words.
castle. We're better off if a bounty hunter does come across us. Better off in a walking castle than not.
Mhm.
Correct. So
I should think so.
Yeah.
So,
a day's travel to Cursed.
hmm.
Let's get started. We can talk about preparations on the way.
Yeah.
Uh,
Also, a long rest would probably be a good idea. I don't know
Mhm.
about the clerics, etc., in the party.
Oh, yes.
We do not have we do not currently have a cleric. We have some people who do healing. That's it.
I'm completely spent.
Also, does does the castle have defenses?
Well, not
Aside,
as much as you might hope. That is, after all, how we ended up in this last situation. One of our main defenses is, being 40 feet off the ground most of the time.
and it looks like, I mean, I was outside tossing bodies over the ramparts,
Oh, thank you for
and
that, by the way.
you're welcome. It looks like the legs are not actually fully connected to each other. The joints are not mechanical but arcane. So someone trying to climb up those legs as it's walking would have a very difficult time.
Yes, I would think so. Never tried it myself.
I certainly wouldn't want to give it a go.
Yeah, I'm not a very dexterous person, so I wouldn't want to try that either.
That said, if we were to encounter flying attackers,
Yeah.
that would be complicated. Not to mention the fact that if you all want to go somewhere off of the castle, we will have to set it down.
Mhm.
Um, but only as long as it takes to do that. Um, get-
Well,
once we're off, we can ask you to raise it up again.
Well, sure. And do you have a means of letting me know when you want it to set down again?
Anybody got sending?
Or for that message, a message cantrip.
Yeah.
negative.
Hmm.
You know, I
Okay.
considered message and decided not to on this build.
I've got it on other versions, but not this one.
Can the castle be partially extended upwards, or is it only on ground or 40 feet?
It kind of needs to be either standing or down. It doesn't.
All right.
It's not an
Okay.
elevator.
I was thinking,
Okay.
Tarsus was thinking of Misty Step, and like that's only 30 feet though. So that would not work
Hmm.
to get up there.
I wonder if the distance was chosen in order to prevent that side of thing.
Maybe. Who can say?
Well, well, maybe what we can do in the meantime, but while we try to do all of that, is maybe while it's standing back up, keep an eye out, and if you see one of us jumping up and down, waving our arms like this, we lower it down and say, "All right, what's up?"
Well, I think we'll have the Castellan keep that out, that eye out, so to speak. Castellan is aware of anything in or immediately around the castle. I am certainly willing to help, but I am an old lady. I can't promise that I am able to devote 100 of my percent of my attention all the time.
Oh no,
You know,
I figured that would probably be there would probably be a mechanism the castle could look out for us itself. It's just like
well, you
I didn't
know,
know if this would work.
well, I think the other way we could go about it is that once we are close to Gate Town, we could find it somewhere more out of the way, out of sight, to set it down, and you could travel into the town on foot.
Yeah, that's probably prudent.
Yes.
But, you know, I'm here to support the skeleton crew on your adventure, which is a sentence I never thought I would say.
We appreciate your hospitality.
As you said yourself, Zathir, well, that happened.
Indeed. So, I will say, I think we've gone ahead and set, you're headed off towards in the direction of Cursed, the gate town for the infernal, or not infernal, but the plane of Carcerai. And certainly, you can all take a long rest.
Yeah.
There are, you know, there are rooms with beds and stuff here.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and where I was gonna, yeah, Carcerai. I said that right. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Inventory. I'm going to spend some time. All right. So I've got my rod now. That is going to be my arcane focus.
Mhm.
It is now my the what did they call that? Arcane firearm.
Mm,
It is now my arcane firearm,
cool.
and that will be fun. And and as long as we've still got some time, I'm gonna go ahead and attune to this mirror.
Yeah, I was going to ask if
I kind of figured you're the one.
And before going to bed, Kneecap does his speaking to someone that doesn't appear to be there. Though this time he is going throughout the entire castle, like everywhere that's not, all the, you know, open spaces and any unoccupied rooms. He's going and talking to whoever it is, and then just
Okay. So I think at a certain point, if you're wandering around while you do this, I think at a certain point, Zathier would just say, "I'm sorry, what was that, dear? I didn't hear you properly.
what?
You were speaking to me just now?
No,
No?
speaking to her.
I'm afraid I don't know who you mean, sweetheart."
Uh, uh, he puts up an image in one hit, image of himself, and then an image of another figure very similar, but kind of foggy. Her.
Hmm. Do you think she can hear you?
Maybe?
Ah, just
Her.
sort of a just in case thing, Or is it more for you?
Don't know.
Hmm. Well, you know what? Knock yourself out.
Okay. And he goes, and he just uh, keeps going on, and probably takes him a good hour to get this because it's such a fascinating place and so many things to tell. And yeah,
All right. So,
After his long rest, Torsus wants to use the librarian to find a book in the library on the gate town of Hurst.
okay.
Hmm.
So, you spend an hour,
Yep.
and you may make an intelligence check with advantage.
Only an 11. Not great.
Okay. Well, that's
I'm
going to
not the.
tell you some things.
better than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Much better.
uh, so let me. I'm just pulling up the information here myself. Um, so the what you learn with that is that Cursed is the gate town for the Tartarian depths of Carcerai. Um, Mostly, the people who live there are exiled humanoids, people who have felt that they could not stay where they were and needed somewhere, anywhere to go to get away from whatever it was that they were before. Um, it is ruled by a burgomaster. It is a menagerie of exiles and outcasts. Fugitives, traitors, and runaways trade one punishment for another in the poisonous town, Dismalburg, chained to the prison plain of Carcerai. Um, it is you gather that it's a little unclear on some details because it's got a lot of flowery language in this book. Someone who really got into using um, uh, multiple adjectives for every noun, but it seems as though a big part of the appeal, such as it is that people who were fleeing consequences for something or other find that whatever they were before doesn't matter anymore once they're here. Um, However, it is also the sort of place that is easier to get into than out of.
That's very useful information.
Yeah. And it describes that aspect of it in ways that leave you a little bit unclear as to the mechanism of that. But certainly, you know a little bit from your research here that one of the traits of carceri, the outer plane to which it connects to, is that things like the plane shift spell, for example, don't work to get out of carceri because it's a prison plane, right?
Right.
And so you don't know if it's something like that or if it's more just like a mundane, like, walls, right?
Well, walls, guards,
Right.
things. Yeah.
It is not reputed to be a fun place to be. Um, and so there's, yeah, it's, so I think that's what you get with your 11, with your
Okay.
11.
I will report this to to the rest of the skeleton crew what I found.
So, I might just so I can understand, it's like people who are uh can't be in carceri are the ones that find their way to curse.
No,
No, I think it's people from all over the multiverse.
it's basically kind of like if you are in trouble or you were maybe like a criminal who is afraid of some other kind of punishment somewhere else, you might come here where essentially you're freed from that at the cost of having to just live in cursed forever.
So it's like so kind of like Australia was a prison continent
Well,
for
sort
at
of,
some
but
point.
like that was a difference because it's not like people fled there; they were sent there, right?
Well,
This is
Yeah.
more like
yeah.
nobody sends anyone to cursed. People find themselves going there when they're fleeing something else.
And it's fleeing something worse
Mm-hmm.
Than being stuck
than,
and
than,
cursed.
than
Yeah.
being suck and cursed.
Yeah.
It's more like
So someone is exiled from somewhere else might end up there, but it's not because anyone is like sentenced to be in cursed.
yeah.
Or
It's less
yeah,
like
or,
it's less like Australia and more like Boston.
Well, I'm thinking more carceri being Australia, and like
Well, but so again, cursory is it's again. Well, you didn't get you don't get all the
no,
details
I didn't get all.
because it's.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
wrote
so
poorly.
like, don't try to make this into a perfect real world analogy because there won't be one.
okay.
But it's like we should like be considering how we're going to get out
Mm-hmm.
as part of all this
Mhm.
because
Affirmative.
it's one of the things this place does.
It traps people. It's sticky.
Yeah. So I think as you're getting closer, um, the odor of rusty metal stings every breath. Ahead lies the gate town of Cursed, a dismal looking community surrounded by an imposing wall. Hulking sentries mind the barrier and oversee an open gate into town. As you near the gate town, your mimir chimes and its eye sockets flicker like a dying candle flame.
Hmm.
I believe that's Malleus's cue.
Yep.
So this is basically I'm saying you are within sight of the gate town in your walking castle. That's where you are right now.
All right. Well then, let's have our have the castle lower to the ground, and we will
Mm-hmm.
start.
Mhm.
Affirmative.
Um, I think if it is difficult to leave, I imagine that a um, intruder sallying forth to try to get aboard while we are gone is less likely here. I mean, I don't necessarily know that I want to depend on that,
No, I
But,
would not wish to test that
Mhm.
theory.
Oh, how about we leave behind Millie's character to keep watch while we're at it?
Well, Millie's character's not
Yeah,
here.
well, it kind of
Yeah,
blinked
she
out of
glitched out of
reality.
blinking out of
Oh,
reality.
okay.
um. So anyway, Zathir is staying. She's not coming
Yeah,
with you to
yeah,
first. She
no, I
said,
would
"No,
not think
Yeah.
not.
thanks, but no thanks. I'll stay here."
Mhm.
You know,
All right.
someone
Hmm.
has to walk the castle away from this horrible place if none of you return.
That's
But
true.
don't worry, I'll wait like at least a week.
Oh, good.
All right.
So, but as you, yeah, so as the castle sets itself down and you start walking in towards Cursed, you realize that it's got a great big gate on the city wall here, but there's something about it that's a little odd that you struggle to put your finger on at first, but then you realize that uh, the locks are on the outside, meaning like you could open the gate from outside, but it's locked from inside, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. So you realize this is a gate that is designed not to protect from outsiders coming in, but from inside, people inside getting out.
Mhm.
There are, however, two hulking guards that are at sentry points where they can see you approaching. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm going to give you a handout of what these things look like.
Um,
Um,
would
what?
it be possible for us to have some like cloaks or anything like that?
Tell me how you would have those.
Like, is there anything like that that might be in the castle, or like sheets or something that we
I
could?
mean, no, they
I'm
don't have.
Purchase?
just
Yeah, I don't. Sorry, I don't think. I
Okay.
mean, you could go somewhere and buy some cloaks, but I don't think they're just. The castle doesn't have just sized cloaks for everybody.
Okay.
Sorry.
Figure I'd ask
Yeah.
because
All right. So
if
I've
the light
shared with you a handout for Maleficents because that's what these
Mhm.
guards are. They're these
those
hulking, like 10-foot tall, armored creatures that look vaguely like nightmare elephants with like five, eyes and a trunk that has kind of like a weird like snake's head looking thing on the end. But they're kind of humanoid. They're wearing horrible misshapen armor and carrying big halberds, and they're watching you approach with sort of a like a lazy curiosity as they're seeing you walk towards the door. And I think they're looking down at you as you get close.
those do look like malevolent elephants.
Mm-hmm.
I will
well.
spare them a glance now and again, but yeah, we'll have to keep following the group to the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And Kneecap's kind of keeping an eye out for anyone and anything that could be an issue.
Besides the
Yeah,
elephants, yeah, the elephants are
and
definitely the obvious one.
Well,
Yeah.
those are things he's clocking. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
I
they're watching you, but you also notice that periodically they're kind of looking back over. Like you're the most interesting right now, but their job technically is to be looking the other way.
yeah.
Mhm.
I want to look around. I know that my skills are not really the greatest for this, but to look around for, any evidence at all of comings and goings. Um, like normally a city
Mm-hmm.
or even a large town would have some like fields or herds or some way of providing food and things like that. Um, or trade going somewhere else.
There's
Now I know that
there's really not even a road that leads to the gate.
okay.
There's no evidence at all of fields. In the time that you spend walking up towards the gate, um, it you don't see any activity on this side of the wall at all.
What kind of terrain is this?
Cracked, dried up soil.
Okay. Not my favorite terrain, in other words.
No.
Every step sends little tiny clouds of dust.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's be about it.
Not this one.
No, this gate has got locks on the outside. It's closed or it's open? 'Cause
So
I've heard you say both.
It is closed, but you could open it. So in the
Okay.
same way that a normal gate would let
Mhm.
you open it from inside to leave,
Right.
it's like that here. Is that from
Mhm.
here you can push the gate open yourselves to go in,
Mm,
but
okay.
someone inside couldn't do that from outside.
Do we wish to leave someone on the outside?
I'll let people back out.
Yes.
Is there someone like directly like at the gate?
So
the two
these
Maleficents.
Maleficents are at sentry points above the gate and watching you carefully.
I have a feeling that they're going to resist anyone trying to come out, whether they're being assisted by someone outside or not.
Affirmative.
Oh,
However,
Kneecap-
it may make the process easier.
Kneecap's gonna call up to them. How leave? If go in, how leave?
They don't answer you.
I mean, from what we've heard so far, the answer is, at least as far as they're concerned,
No one
you
leaves.
don't.
Mhm.
So I expect we'll have something of a challenge getting out.
Tarsus.
Yep.
Tarsus.
Yes.
Go in and then and go in by yourself and then try to come back out.
Oh, you want
look.
Malleus to
No,
go
no,
in
no,
by
he, no,
himself?
no, no, I know. He said Tarsus. No, you wanted Tarsus to be the guinea pig here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, this might get us into a fight with the Maleficents, but okay, I will open up the gate. I will walk through the gate. What?
Okay.
Now,
So yeah, you push the gate and they watch you go in and they briefly exchange a glance with each other and then as the gate is open,
Mhm.
where's this?
This is how we
Um,
get a new version of Tarsus this session.
yeah. So you are not obstructed at all. You see that there are on the inside. You see that there are two armored humanoid soldiers and another Maleficent that are standing on guard at the gate on the inside as well. They step aside to let you through, and then once you are through, they move back into position, and the gate closes.
So I will address the Maleficent as what are the requirements for exit?
Are you speaking in common? I assume.
I think I'm speaking in Abyssal. I got Abyssal. I've got languages.
Hmm?
Yeah. I'm speaking in Infernal. It would be Infernal and Abyssal. I'm speaking Infernal.
If you're speaking Infernal, then when you say that, they kind of you just need to get the burgomaster's permission. That's all.
Thank you. And I'll call out to my companions. The burgomaster's permission is required for exit.
Oh. We're pretty good at convincing people of things one way or another. Let's
Yeah.
give it a shot.
Push the gate open and then kind of scurry in, looking as small as he's ever been. He doesn't like this
Oh.
place.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you make your way in,
Hmm.
you're all seeing now the city itself. You realize, first of all of you, as soon as you have passed through the gates,
Mm-hmm.
you have this nagging feeling as though you are dragging a ball and chain behind you. And you can
Mhm.
look and feel, and like there's nothing there, and yet every time you take a step, it feels like you're dragging a ball of chain. So all of you have your speed reduced by 5 feet at the moment.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, that's unpleasant.
That is very unpleasant.
yeah. And so the buildings, like the dust and like the ground is just as like cracked and dry and barren looking in here. All of the buildings look like they're made from like scavenged wood and scrap metal and stuff. Like that's that kind of everything. But you see that this is, once you're in the walls, you can see that it is, a roughly circular city that has 5 circular roads dividing 6 districts that are all like concentric circles.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so you can kind of see, because it sort of slopes inward, that at the center of town is a very obvious gate. It's just this big archway. And you see activity here. There are people kind of coming and going. Mostly they all seem kind of like they're minding their business, looking kind of downtrodden, and nobody really wants to talk to anybody. That sort of attitude. But you see people, you do notice down at the center where the gate is, it's deserted down there. Nobody's down there. Um, and then once the guards have closed the gate behind the rest of you, the Maleficent says, "Yeah, the burgomaster's permission is all you need, and I'm sure he'll be willing to grant it when he gets back from his trip."
Where has he gone?
Who could say?
Okay. Good to know.
Hmm.
And they kind of chuckle with each other.
Yep. It's fine.
Hmm.
That is
Right,
fine.
well,
I'm
let's be
guessing
about
the
our business.
burgomaster has gone through the gate. That's
That's the most likely explanation. Also, most terrifying.
Okay.
Incarcerate.
And who
Yeah.
does the burgomaster get permission from in order to leave the city?
Are you asking the guard that?
No,
Okay, yeah.
it's a
You're,
rhetorical question
Mm.
to my companions.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
I
yeah.
mean,
It's honestly, it's
from
probably not like
himself.
he's probably not going to ask anybody.
Well, no, what I mean is it may be that it's impossible for him to get permission. He may be the most imprisoned person.
Mhm.
But he's on a trip. So
Yep.
let's be about our business and
Let's go
handle
to
things one thing at a
yeah.
time.
Let's go right to the portal. Let's
Okay.
do
All
what needs
right.
to be done.
So the portals that the Mimir is calibrating are the portals to the planes that they're linked to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here it's pretty obvious. Like the whole city seems like designed that, unless there's literally a building blocking your view, just from about anywhere, you can see down to the center where there's a big obvious arch with like a swirling portal in it.
Mhm.
You're getting some, curious looks from people, but they're all like quick, furtive glances. Like everyone is trying really hard to see as much as they can but without risking eye contact with any of you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try keep an ear out for any chattering, rumors I can.
People are, by
Pick
and
up.
large, not talking.
Okay.
This is not a chatty city.
No, this. Yeah, this is
No.
people
This
keep their
is
heads down.
so like, yeah, exactly. You see people like they're, if they're going from one spot in the city to another spot in the city, they are getting there as fast as possible, ideally without talking to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So,
As you pointed out, Cuthbert, this is probably the most unpleasant of the cities that we will
I mean, it
possibly.
may not be
Oh,
it may not be the most dangerous, but it, like I said,
the
the least,
most
the most
unpleasant.
unpleasant.
Unless we wind up going to Plague Mort or Torch for some reason, or Hopeless.
It's luckily, those calibrations appear to be intact, so.
That may not
Let's-
necessarily mean that we don't need to
Yeah.
go there at some point.
Let's not borrow trouble from the future.
Indeed,
We've got enough as it stands.
quite.
So
So-
yes, we head down to the portal, and
Yep.
I don't know how these calibrations are done, but
I'm
Let's
sure
do it.
Malleus could do it.
Yeah, so they are, nobody obstructs your path at all. Nobody tries to stop you in any way. Definitely, as you're getting closer to the center, you are getting people doing a little bit more of a like, what are they doing? Sort of look towards you, but certainly nobody tries to stop you.
Okay.
does it look
are
like,
people-
I mean, it's like, it's almost like, I get the feeling that the city is kind of pushed up against the walls, like nobody wants to be any closer to that gate than they have to be.
Yeah, you definitely
Mm-hmm.
get that vibe that it's a little bit like an antlion pit. You know what I mean? It's a little bit like a sense of like, it's bad enough to be here, but you definitely don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When people say, look at us like, what are they doing? Is that more of like a fear or
Well,
or
it's
just
only
are
in
they
the sense
free?
that they don't want to go anywhere near that thing. And so seeing people going that way on purpose is strange. Like, it's like someone is doing something stupid and dangerous and it's none of your business, but you're certainly curious.
Mhm.
That sort of thing.
I mean, going through that portal would be a
So yeah,
One-way journey.
I think it's definitely kind of what Nobilis was just saying is that you just get the vibe of the citizens of this town don't want anything to do with that gate.
And for good reason.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
But you are able to make your way all the way down there, and I am just once again a little bit surprised that in the book, here, let's see if I can find something. So when you buy the books from Wizards of the Coast, it comes with like the guide to the Outlands and everything. And there's a whole lot of great artwork in there, but not all of that artwork is made available in the Roll20 module. And so there are some pieces of artwork from the book that I wish it was easier to show you, and yet it doesn't really let me. And in some cases, I made like special handouts for you. But so in any case, I think what you just see is, I'm not going to spend any more time belaboring the point that there is a cool picture that I can't show you.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is that, yes, this is, it is a big archway with a terrifying looking swirling portal in it. And it looks like it would be all too easy if you had the nerve to just walk on through. There is nothing that would stop you from doing that.
Except,
Not fun.
except the fact that we know better.
Right. Yeah. So it is only that, like, it's kind of like the gate into town, right? Like, certainly no one stopped you or even questioned your business. It's like, if you're showing up here, that's fine. It's just if you want to go the other way, that's a problem.
Yep.
Well, if we ever need to dispose of something or someone,
Mhm.
it's
Well, a prison plane would be a perfect place to do
Yeah.
so.
mhm.
So
Well, I
right.
think everybody's had that thought.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
it exists.
One thing I was wondering is like, is there any sign that like, if you get too close to the portal, it'll suck you in?
Well, I mean, you can make a check for that, but like, what kind of signs do you think there would be
Like
of that?
I'm thinking like, like grooves in the ground of
No,
things being.
no, you don't see anything like that.
Let's
What
get our
you see
color.
is the same sort of dusty soil, but you certainly don't see any like footprints or tracks or anything leading either direction out of the portal.
Okay. Well,
How about this? Pick up a handful of dust
Uh huh.
and toss it in the direction.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
The you I think it's
It
like inconclusive. Like you don't see
acts
any
like
you don't see any obvious vacuuming or anything like that.
Mm.
But there's also kind of a low grade, breeze that sort of carries it a little bit. It's not like you don't see any obvious suction though.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
That
Yeah.
that makes me feel better.
let's
Yeah.
get this over with, and then we can start worrying about the Burgomaster.
Malleus, if you would.
Okay, so basically what I've got to do is get within 5 feet of that door and then describe what I see
Mm-hmm.
around me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like in game, you need to be spending a full minute doing it, but I won't necessarily put the pressure on you that you have to talk continuously for a minute about something you
Okay.
can't actually see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I've been so quiet because I'm trying to think of, all right, well, how do I describe this?
sure. Yeah. And so what I would encourage you to say is like, you don't have to say verbatim what Malleus is saying, because Malleus obviously can be responding to things he's really seeing. But, like you could kind of just describe the vibe of it. Or if you have any other questions about it, you can ask me. But like, what we're trying to just get a sense of is like, are you describing it more or less exactly how you see it? Or are you putting
Or you
any
could change it.
any
Yeah.
mustard on it for any one direction or another? It's like
You can make this a Chicago dog, Lee, and put anything you want into this description. Possibly change
Yeah.
reality. Oh God.
Yeah, and that's really what you want to do with the guy who is enamored of explosives.
yeah. Well,
I mean, out of the five of us, I'd probably be the most modronic, but so you don't want me doing it because I'll just play it straight, which maybe not what we want to do here. So up to you. Go for it. I'm curious what you go for.
Can we perhaps use the magic that we're talking about to assist us in escaping this place?
Or like maybe describe somebody that's somebody arriving.
Mhm.
No,
oh,
no,
well,
I
so
think
let me put in a little quick question here. This recalibration process theory that Shemeshka had is not like an instantaneous thing. Like you're
No.
recording the data and then it gets the cosmos gets adjusted when the Great Modron March returns with the information to Mechanus.
Mm,
So doing anything like if you were describing, and there's a big special door just for us, even if in principle that would work, it wouldn't work until that information got returned to Mechanus.
okay, okay.
But we can make future cursed better.
Yeah,
We
because
can't make
right
current
now
cursed
the
better.
Mimir is just storage. It's all about how that
Yeah.
information gets used later.
right. So I guess I would do like a basic description of the gate and the empty space around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the houses, I think as an experiment.
I mean, in order to be an experiment, we have to be able to see the results.
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
it's
Knows after
Yeah.
the
See,
There's
what what Malleus wants to do is say something along the lines of, okay, there's this great big open plaza around the gate that is completely empty, but outside of that plaza, the city is in good repair.
Are you saying that, or are you asking me if it is?
No, this is just the general vibe of what Malleus is saying. It's like,
Okay. Well,
yeah,
so what I'll
this
say is the city is not in good repair. So I
I
just
know
wanted to,
this is
okay.
yeah, he's lying out of his
Yeah.
ass.
Okay. All
Um,
right. Yeah.
city's in good repair. You know, maybe could use a little additional TLC, but it's a it could be a good home for someone who needs a place of safety.
Wow.
All right.
Watch us change reality by the end of this campaign permanently.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me. I have to. I have to do some tracking stuff.
She has to recalibrate the gears of Mechanus.
Ah,
And um I'll make a note of what I said.
Okay.
Um,
documentation is important.
All right. Cool. That's fun. All right. So, um, as you finish your description, um, the the Mimir's eyes kind of flare, and it goes bing. And when you sort of check it, you can see that it now shows as having in its databanks the information it needed for Cursed. So
okay.
you have accomplished
So
what you needed to do here.
okay. So
That's
what
good.
I want to do next is I want to put the Mimir in my bag.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about it getting hurt or getting lost or what have you,
Stolen.
Sure.
stolen.
Mm-hmm.
That thing that happens to
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So I'm gonna put it
Like
in my
wallets
bag
in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
or anywhere really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was for Christiana.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna move the Mimir um into my bag.
Sure.
Yeah. Right.
So
That was
yeah,
the easy part.
incidentally, so you had to be within 5 feet of the gate, the portal, to do that, and you were, and you didn't get sucked in.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you do. As you're so close to it, I think you are aware that there are people like watching with wide eyes from like windows, just at the bravery / stupidity of what you're all doing. And they're kind of
Yes,
waiting to see what's going to happen next because this is very strange.
it's a genius moron.
While we were passing our way here,
Mm-hmm.
did we see anything that looked like a social space, a tavern or anything like that?
Make a perception check.
No.
8.
No.
The main thing that you noticed on the way here is that there is at one point in the city there is what looks like. So, given that this is a city where everything in it is made of like scrap metal and scavenged, wood, and it's dusty and horrible everywhere. The closest thing this place has to a big fancy house is kind of off to one side where it has here. There was a fun description in here. Let me find this. It's a 3-story manor that looks like an elaborate, menacing cage. A reddish glow emanates from a pair of slanted windows above its spiked veranda, giving it the impression of a grimacing face. So you see that off in the distance. You also see that there is kind of a whole relatively big section of the city that seems to be just a big garbage dump. You suspect that there probably is a social space, but you didn't catch view of it on your way here.
Big house.
Well, yeah, I mean, someone in authority is what we want to see next, and that's most likely the biggest house in the place. So
Yep.
how about we go there?
Affirmative.
All right. So you make your way, dragging this invisible, intangible ball and chain behind
Not
each of
liking this
you.
at all.
Yeah. You know, there's dust choking the air, and you know, just the the aura here is not one of menace, but kind of like sort of like resigned despair, like when you've sort of given up everything that you ever had before, but you've kind of just like accepted that now.
Mhm.
That's kind of the vibe of most of the people in this city, is that like they don't like it, but it seems better than any available alternative, and so they're gonna just get through it, is the way most people seem to be acting. And you definitely all have a little bit of new neighbor shine on you that makes you stand out. So you definitely get looks, but you're able to make your way to this big estate that is striking in how much more like ostentatious it is compared to everything else here. Um, and you see out front uh, there is a big statue. Shoot, where let me give you I can give you the handout of this guy. Where is sorry, I'm trying to. There he is. Okay. Let me see if I've got a handout for what this guy is, so I can show you. He's basically a big sort of like frog demon thing. Not a slod, but a different frog demon thing.
Not that demon thing, the other
No,
demon
yeah,
thing. No,
the
the
other
other one.
the other frog demon thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, not. Yeah. Okay. I don't have a handout of what this guy. Um, or wait, maybe I do. Sorry, I've got lots of different things that I'm going through here. No, I don't have a handout for it. But what this thing looks like is the statue is like if a frog had horrible fangs and a bunch of like spider eyes in its big fat belly and two big little demon wings, and is wearing a big like tall collar made of spikes, and it is like
Right.
10 feet tall. That's kind of what this statue is of. And the sign from it says Burgomaster Villigus Bazengar.
Bazingar.
Bazengar.
Bazinga.
And the you know, there's a gate that doesn't seem like it's you know, open to the public. And you've got you know, various you know, there's, let's see, what do these guys look like? Then there's a couple of other creatures that look like skinnier, more muscly versions of that statue, but their heads are a little bit more like alligator than frog. There's a few of those walking around along like various like balusters is the word that it uses in the description here. But yeah, so there's obvious guards of this estate.
Mm.
So
Well, if nobody else does it, Kneecap is going to go and try and knock on the door or ring the bell or whichever,
right.
whatever is
Well,
that.
so there is definitely a you know, a barred like wall around the estate with a gate that's locked.
Gonna, gonna go knock on the gate or however meant to get, you know, get attention.
All right. One of those big guard monster things shouts at you, and those of you who can speak infernal gather that it's an infernal idiomatic version of piss off.
Burgermaster! Speak, Burgermaster!
Mhm.
They do not seem receptive to your pleas, Kneecap.
Radius.
I will then address the guards. Where is the burgomaster? In Infernal, of course.
Not here.
In Infernal, I'll ask, Radius will ask, when can we, or how do we get a meeting with the Burgomaster?
They confer amongst themselves, and then one of them leans down and says, "What's your name?"
Radius.
They hold up an invisible clipboard. Say, "I'm writing your name down right here. You'll be first on the list when he gets back." And then he tosses like the imaginary clipboard over his shoulder.
Charming.
Indeed.
Well, I don't speak I
Hmm.
don't speak infernal, but I'll turn to Tarsus and Radius. And can we find out how long he's been gone? Because I think that was fairly indicative of he ain't going to come back anytime soon.
And so Radius asks, how long has the Burgomaster been gone?
Even better question.
None of your business.
Okay. Hmm.
Do these guys look awfully intelligent?
No. They look like they are not super intelligent. Their skills lie elsewhere. But they do look like they definitely enjoy telling people to piss off.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
You get the feeling, though, that they might like it even more if you gave them a reason to do more than that.
Yeah.
Right.
How likely do you think it is? And this is just me speculating here. How likely do you think it is that Burgermaster actually is inside that house, and he's just paying these guys so that nobody bugs him?
Well,
I think there's only one way to find out.
well,
Well, okay. Nope.
Well, there are more than one way, but there's one
Mhm.
direct way to find out. But
Yeah.
I mean, going in there is how you find out. How we go in there is, oh, well, there's a bunch of different options that way, but I think
How tall is the wall?
The wall. I mean, it's like 15 feet. Like, I mean,
Oh.
it looks like it's not impossible. Like, it's bars, right? It's not
Yeah.
solid.
What's it topped by?
Spikes, of course.
I mean,
Spikes?
spikes, yes.
Spikes.
So-
of course.
Of course.
Spikes with
Heavy.
razor vine weaving in between.
Oh,
Yeah.
so basically barbed wire. Got it.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. And you see Kneecap looking around, looking at this, like, and
So
you
I
almost
think.
see
Oh, go
his
ahead.
mind plotting hand and foot holes to climb the wall, but he's not quite doing it yet.
So I think as you are kind of increasingly making a scene by yelling back and forth with these guards that have clearly told you to, to leave, all of a sudden an aged human wearing a tattered cloak approaches. His skin is crisscrossed with scars, and he carries himself with confidence. In a deep voice, the man rumbles, "They say no one leaves cursed. Really, you just need the right friends to get out. You all look like you might be in a friend-making mood.
Affirmative.
Sure.
Well, good then. I invite you for tea and a chat about the signature wall.
Certainly.
Sure.
Please
Follow
lead.
me then and stop antagonizing the guards."
All
You
right.
see Kneecap is crouched, ready, just looking for a right time to spring.
Kneecap, not at this time, Kneecap.
Malleus will pick up Kneecap and bring them along.
Yes,
Malleus is small too, though, aren't you?
He's pretty strong though.
All right.
Yeah, we can break kneecap later.
Yeah, I think Kneecap is so ready to spring that when Malleus grabs him, he just kind of flops on the ground and says, "Oh, okay."
So as you are following this individual, he takes you largely in the direction of this big town dump. But before reaching the dump itself, he takes you to a tiny shack made of rusted metal plates and scavenged wood. He urges you inside, and you find it simply furnished with a few chairs, a table, a kitchenette, and a bench cluttered with metal scraps and tools. A curtained off area holds a single bed. And after he hurries you all inside and then bars the door. Once you're inside, the man calls out in a worried voice, "Felix?" Or I guess he was more like, "Felix?" A moment later, a young man enters the space from the curtained off bedroom. He resembles the older man, though his skin is partially transparent. "Time to go already, Father?" the young man asks. Whoever would like, who is proficient in Arcana or History, can make a check about
Yes,
this.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good roll for me this time.
Yeah, there you go.
22.
Okay.
I'm not
Well,
rolling
so
well at all.
I would say Cuspid and Malleus both instantly recognize that Felic is what is known as a petitioner, which what is really what essentially is the outer planes are essentially where mortals go for their afterlives. And that's not to say that there are not living mortals in the outlands and the outer planes also. But when you die and your soul goes to an outer plane as a petitioner, you're solid more or less, but you have lost the ability to ever be anywhere but the outer planes. So, knowing that what you're seeing in this younger man is a petitioner, you know that he was once a living humanoid who looked like he does now, only he died, and this is his soul now present physically in the Outlands. But that's you recognize that this younger man, that is why his skin is partially transparent, is because he is a petitioner.
Okay. When I was imagining skin being partially transparent, I was thinking, oh, I can see his muscles.
Yeah,
No,
I
this
know.
is-
It's the way
his
they.
body is
Yes,
partially transparent.
he is all
yes.
completely. He's all partially transparent. I agree. The framing is weird, even though I just read it as they wrote it. So in any case, the older man just says, "My name is Valder. This is my son Felic, and we have I need to get out of here too. And I know a way, but it's dangerous. And so,
You've been
having,
waiting for someone like us to come along.
yeah, some others that look like they can handle themselves and also want to get out.
Well, here we are. This seems like um,
A useful
a
meeting.
blessing from the other side of the Outlands. Um, so let us trust in fate here and lead on.
When you mentioned like from the other side of the Outlands, the father gets a little bit of like a wistful expression looking back at his son, but then before kind of like turning back to all of you, the son doesn't seem to have especially noticed. He seems sort of more just like generically anxious.
Mhm.
But yeah, you kind of catch something in the father's demeanor there. Um, so I'm glad I didn't have to talk you into it here. So here's basically the situation. There is a tunnel in the dump that goes under the walls. And I can lead you to the tunnel, but it is, like I said, there's dangerous. It's I don't think there's guards per se, but other hazards in the dump. And what I need from you before we do this, and I don't have any way of like enforcing this, but what I would ask of each of you is that you make a promise to me that you protect Felix on our way out. That is my priority here, is that he gets out.
Okay.
In the name of Belisama, I will protect your son on our way out of this city.
I will make such a promise.
I promise.
Yep.
All right.
Radius?
Sure.
Okay, so we need to do it at nightfall. And so that's a little ways away. And so rather than just hang out here, I would like some time to make our own preparations here. And if I could have you all meet me at the dump at nightfall.
I don't see any problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. I'll see you there, and we'll get out of this place.
Is tavern somewhere?
We
Oh,
can search for we can search for a tavern.
Well, I mean, sure, yeah, like that's. You could head to the Trader's Gate. It's kind of a more like a roadhouse. I guess it's it's the closest thing we've got here. Tainted Bars runs it. Yeah, that's probably as closest to a tavern as you're gonna find around here. It looks like a giant overturned bucket. You can't miss it.
Okay.
All right. Well, don't get into
We will
so
m-
much trouble that you can't make our appointment. But otherwise, I'll see you then
Yeah.
at nightfall.
Okay.
All right. So, you leave the little shack. Find it barred again behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's see. You go looking for Trader's Gate.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So let's
Is-
see.
Is that
Hmm?
is that TRAITORS
Oh yeah.
gate?
Traitors.
Oh,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that my ears were hearing what you
Not
were
traders.
saying.
Yeah, who trades
All right.
here?
Traitors.
Okay, so on your way, I think you spot in the distance this building that looks like an overturned bucket. But on your way there, someone roll a d6 for me.
I will.
Yeah.
5.
All right, that's a 5. You are making your way through here, and suddenly you sort of all feel like that, that feeling of like the hair on the back of your neck standing up, like you're being watched. And when you glance over, you see a swarm of cranium rats looking at you from the mouth of an alley. And they scatter into various little rat holes when you look over, but they were watching you.
Mhm.
I like them.
Do any of them look familiar?
Friends of yours?
Well, they look like rats with big exposed brains, and so I think if you want to explain to me why you think you would have the ability to tell one from another, we could talk
I
about that.
Yeah, I don't think I our ranger friend might, but I don't necessarily think that they would be like, are we being followed by the same cranium rat? Because this will be the
Well,
third
this
interaction.
is a whole swarm of them now, but
Yeah.
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 This is our third interaction with these specific creatures.
Mm.
And they haven't tried to kill us.
Well, they didn't. They ran away. They were in large numbers and they ran away from us. I call that a win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The-
Honestly, I would not be at all surprised if we encounter them during our escape.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine as long as they're not on the side of the forces keeping us here, they won't they might want to follow us, but otherwise they won't care.
All right. So I think as you are, uh, you're able to find this Trader's Gate. You can see that it is not what you might normally consider a rowdy place. It is much more the place where people get a drink and then sit at their table and stare sullenly into their beers. But it is the closest thing this town has to a hoppin' night spot. So
It's a place where we can sit for several hours and not look weird or
Affirmative.
not look like we don't belong.
Looks suspicious.
Yeah.
I my clothes are clean. I'm going to look strange in this town no matter what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
But
yeah, we kind of
strange good here. Strange good here. Nickat's gonna go get some form of drink
okay.
and then just
Mm-hmm.
find a big table for us to sit at and
Yeah.
just
I think that there's not really a big open table.
Yeah.
But like so there's room, but like it's not like you have just a big table all to yourselves that's just waiting for you to go sit there. I think
Yeah.
or
um
like several small tables close.
Yeah.
well, my point
Yeah.
is that I think if you all want to sit together, you're going to have to navigate some of the existing patrons who are, in their spots.
Hmm.
They
So
have their chair.
that is
and-
not an insurmountable task per se, but I would ask you how you would be approaching that obstacle.
I think that the context appropriate thing to do would be to go over to whatever table has enough room for us, stand around it in a threatening way and say, "Excuse us, I think we're going to sit here," and see whether the person wants to make trouble for us.
Mm-hmm. All right. It sounds like an in-character proposition to the other characters as opposed
Yes,
to
that is exactly what I was doing.
yes. I'm not against either way. Though if we do expect trouble later, we might not want to get in too much trouble here. but sitting together is also a thing.
I
So,
think sitting together would be the right thing to do.
is there a table big enough or a space big enough for us?
Oh
in the
yeah,
back?
yeah. But I think just everyone has kind of spaced themselves out evenly, right?
Mhm.
You know, because everyone
Yeah.
wants to
Yeah.
sort of be as alone as they can.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
you come to the hoppin' night spot of the city so that you can sit and be alone. That's the kind of place this is.
The
But
kind of
in,
place cursed is, yes.
yeah, but in any case, so anyone who would like to can, you know, loom menacingly and make an intimidation check if you like.
Tarsus, would you assist me in this endeavor?
I am actually not trained in intimidation.
All I need is your help.
All right, I can do that.
I think
Affirmative.
Kneecap would try to help and just like growl.
16.
Okay. Yeah, I think with 16, I think the eyes that turn up to you, I think you were maybe expecting them to be a little bit more like angry and sullen. But what gets turned up to you is much more in the vein of sad, weepy drunk.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
And he just goes, "Oh, fine. Nobody wants me here. Nobody wants me anywhere." And he just wanders off in like out the door
Aw.
muttering.
oh.
Oh,
Well,
I guarantee you he would be no less miserable outside than he'd be in
I
here.
would have thought they'd be more hopeless than cursed, but what do I know? I don't remember anything.
Anyways,
maybe he he's been rejected multiple times today.
Mm.
mm,
Yeah. So,
probably
I
hard to make friends in a town like this.
Yeah.
mhm.
So the yeah, there's a haggard, grim-faced man standing behind the bar. And he says, "We've got beer and we've got the hard stuff."
Here will be fine.
Bear.
5, please.
Beer.
All right, that'll be 5 electrum.
Electrum, that's what, 5 silver each?
No,
No.
Each electrum is 5 silver, so it would be 2.5 gold.
Which is a lot of money for 5 beers, by the way.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's a
It
lot of
is.
money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You guys are the ones who've been recently paid.
Yeah. If
well,
if anyone would like, you can also make an insight check because I think
Yeah.
broadly
I'm gonna
speaking
do
that's a
insight
ludicrous
check.
price for beer, but you don't know what the deal is here either, right?
Yeah.
10 on an insight.
All right.
I trained, really trained in insight.
How about a 22?
Yeah.
There we go.
You guys, you're obvious newbies who don't know your way around this place. He's trying to
Mhm.
overcharge you.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at it, but that's
Yeah.
definitely what's happening here.
Yeah.
Counter with 5 silver.
Hmm.
How about a silver apiece?
You've got the silver.
Yeah.
Show me.
And I'll pull out the I'll have to rifle through my coin purse for silver because I
also
only
go-
have gold.
Here, Kneecap will flick up a gold to him.
That's 2 silver per thing.
Change.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
well,
How about this? I'll just hold on to this, and you can each have 2 beers. And he puts the gold in his,
Okay.
in under the bar somewhere, and he pours a beer for each of you.
Yay.
it is not ice cream.
Yeah,
If it was ice cream, I would be going, ah!
the beer is
Honestly-
terrible. It's sour. It's awful.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would not
Mhm.
trust ice cream here.
Mhm.
No, perhaps not.
They've got two flavors, dust and blood.
Blood, please. I'm an obligate carnivore.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So you are able to get your beers, and it is very much like it's nasty stuff, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
presumably functional.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this doesn't seem like the spot where you can just easily listen to gossip, but
No.
there are other people here that you could potentially talk to.
I,
Mm.
yeah, I think
I mean, if y'all want to just like ride out, until nightfall, that you can do that.
I think that might be the prudent thing to do.
Yeah.
They're trying to avoid imperial entanglement.
Well,
yeah.
that's the trick, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kneecap really to go ask about the Burgermeister. See
Sure.
where.
Who are you asking?
I think Kneecap would ask the barkeep about the Burgermeister.
Okay. Well, what about him?
On trip?
Probably. It's not like we see him around much.
Nowhere?
No. It's not the sort of thing that he feels like he needs to share with me.
Who gives permission Burgermeister leave?
Make a persuasion check.
6.
6. He just kind of looks at you and he just says, Burgermeister is the one who can give people permission to leave. He doesn't need someone else's permission.
Oh. Okay. And Kneecap will go back to the table.
Yeah, you got the impression that he was entertaining you two a little bit, but then he was also just like, this is someone who's just going to get himself into trouble, and I don't want to be the one that helped that happen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobilis, how much money does Cuspid have?
Not a lot. Like a few silvers. This version of Cuspid does not have the advantage of having been through the cash generating events that several of you have had.
Mm-hmm.
Kneecap would like to slip 20 gold to Cuspid.
Okay. Your donation to the cause of Belisama's continued ministry is appreciated. Blessings upon you.
Figure if nothing else, make sure everybody has some cash on them.
Mm-hmm.
Affirmative.
Sure. Okay, so uh, if then you are all just kind of riding out the time otherwise, then I'd say you
Yeah.
notice out the window that the light starts getting a bit dimmer. You're once again, like in Sigil, there's not like an obvious sun in the sky, but the sky does grow gradually dimmer.
Gonna finish off the last dregs of my second beer, which probably is even worse than the first.
Somehow,
Yeah,
yeah.
I took one sip and I did not even touch the rest of the second.
Mhm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't need to eat or drink, so it's just like, what does this taste like? Not great. Don't need any more.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Radius?
Exactly. Radius just kind of has looked at his the entire time and he took one sip and was like,
Yeah, team, we don't need this. High five.
yeah,
Yeah.
team,
Yeah.
let's not try to be human.
All right, so you make your way out of the Trader's Gate and start towards the dump. Someone roll another d6 for me.
I'll do it. We get a 1 this time.
Okay, so as you are passing, you hear a commotion, and then as you look, there's one of those creatures that you saw guarding the burgomaster's estate, and he has got the clutched in one hand, he is dragging a humanoid, like he looks like he's a very filthy, like covered in muck of some awful description, um, who is being dragged behind this big creature, screaming and protesting, "No! Oh God, no! Please! I didn't mean it! It wasn't my fault! It wasn't my fault!" And this monster is dragging him towards the center of town where the portal is.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is what happens in this town.
Mhm.
I mean, that is a
Mhm.
rather effective punishment, don't you think? Go to the
Yeah.
prison plane.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
and
Expenses paid.
this like there's a little bit of a the penny drops, so to speak, for some of your research, Tarsus, where you realize
Mhm.
that like part of the whole thing is that you can come to Cursed, and anything that you did anywhere else, nobody cares. But you commit a crime while you're here.
You go.
There's one
You go.
punishment.
You go to carcery. Great. What? All
Mhm.
expenses paid.
Yeah. So, assuming that you don't intervene, this creature, this guard demon monster thing, is dragging this guy off towards that portal for that punishment, while the guy
This is
screams and.
this is the wrong character for that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's characters of mine who would actually jump up and do this, but Tarsus is not one of them.
Yeah.
We don't have the luckily we don't have the paladin. Otherwise, we'd be in deep trouble right now. I think we'd get a
Yeah.
public guard.
So I think as they pass you, the guy does look at you, says, "Please, please, you gotta help me. No, I've been framed. I've been framed. This wasn't my fault." But he's being dragged away.
A little part of me dies inside, but I don't do anything.
Hmm.
Oh, if someone else does, of course I will support them, but I'm not going to initiate combat with a guard.
No.
Kneecap watches the entire thing. It's like not, but obviously not happy.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's not a
Not
pleasant
really.
situation. No.
Damn, I don't have vortex.
And
We
and
have
honestly, it is really hard to tell what makes him more unhappy. The guard calling him, the fact that he's going to Carcerai, or something else.
Hmm.
Hmm.
All right. So,
Yeah.
as you are making your way closer to the dump, I'm going to put you all on a map.
Boy.
Let's see. Why do I not? I only have the. Oh, I don't put your tokens on there yet. Let me do that. So you get to the outskirts of the dump here, and technically I've moved you to the map teensy bit prematurely, because when you reach the entrance to the dump, you see these two, this father and son, Felic and Veldar.
Balder.
Valder, yes.
Yes.
Where they seem to have just gotten into an argument of some kind. Where, well, I guess of some kind, I say, when it's really obvious what's happening here in a moment, because Felix is saying, "What do you mean you're not coming?" And then Valder says, "Listen, Felix, I'm so grateful that you found me here and that we were able to reconnect. But if I leave, their mercy killers are just going to keep coming after me. I'm just going to attract danger to you, whereas I think without me, once you're out of here, you can make your way to Mount Celestia where you belong." And Felix saying, "But I just found you again." And that's the argument they're having as you walk up.
Mm.
And Radius will say, and what is this Mount Celestia?
It is an outer plane.
Are you asking them, or are you talking amongst yourselves?
I will go up to them and ask them.
Oh. Okay, I think I was gonna sorry.
Felix looks like a combination of humble but also maybe a little embarrassed. And he says Mount Celestia is the outer plane of lawful good. It's where I was assigned, but I couldn't go there without finding out what had happened to my father.
Do you know where the gate is to get to this place?
Well, I can. Yes, it's in one of those.
On the other side of the out.
Well,
But Valder is saying he's assigned there. He can make his way there as long as he's not in the city that no one is allowed to leave.
now would both of you be protected there or just him? Because we're going to be
Valder
traveling.
says, "I can't go there. Not only am I not a petitioner, but the mercy killers are after me here. That's why I was here to begin with."
Well, would the mercy killers follow you to the gate town of Mount Celestia?
They
If we
would
could get you to the gate town, say.
I appreciate that all of you have good hearts here, but you do not know what you are asking right now. The mercy killers will stop at nothing to take me, and it is only the unique nature of this gate town that is stopping them from taking me right now.
Why want you?
That's not really our business.
Yeah, this basically what he's saying is that this is
Look, I promised all of you a way out in exchange for getting my son out.
Hmm.
mhm.
I can't leave.
Okay.
Felix
You-
looks sad but resigned.
Okay.
Bellic is one of those people who found Curse the last best option for them.
Mhm.
Hmm. We'll have to send you a sending in a little while and see if anything has improved.
If that even works.
It is only I need you to not do anything that attracts any attention to me. It is
Mhm.
only the fact that because cursed strips away what came before, in a sense, that they don't know I'm here.
Okay.
If they found out I was
All right.
here, that's,
They might force their way in to deal
and
with
what
it.
I need, if he can get out of here, Felix can make his way. He's a petitioner.
Mhm.
He's been assigned there. He would find it harder to not go there than to find his
Mhm.
way. But
All right.
Okay.
And
We'll
you
do
did
our
make us.
we'll
Yeah, we made a promise. We will keep the
yep, we'll
promise.
we'll do our part and get him out.
and Felix just says, "It's not fair."
No, it is not fair, Bellic. But we will do the best we are able with the situation we are given.
Multiverse, not fair.
And
Wise words, Kneecap. Wise words.
And then so Veldar says, "Felix knows the way to go. I can't take care of him. And then he like runs off.
Okay.
I will say, as part, since just as we're heading into potential combat here, Felix he's not armed. He does not look like he's got really anything. So
No.
to defend him is, so I think those of you who knew what petitioners were know that he can't really like die permanently exactly, but like he would like reform eventually if he were to die in this state, right? So it's not like he's fine if if he dies,
Yeah,
right?
no,
Right.
yeah.
But yeah. So in any case, though, uh, Felix is looking at all of you and just saying, my my father made a lot of mistakes, but what he's being hunted for now was trying to be better. I can only hope that when he eventually dies, that the powers of the cosmos see that the way I can.
Well, I wish him luck in his endeavors, but in the meantime, we need to get
Yeah.
you.
Understood. I don't wish to delay your escape any further. I thank you for your assistance. Shall we? If you look through the piles up there, you see there's a large assembled dragon skull, and through one of the eyes is a tunnel.
Oh,
That's
I
what
see.
we've
Okay.
been told anyway. I'm hearing this only from my father. So if it's time to go, then let us be on our way.
I will,
Yep.
as we get ready to head out, I will light the candle of invocation that I have
Okay.
because it takes action. That's all.
Sure. What are you hoping is going to happen with that?
Oh, nothing. It's I have to light it to get the effects of it.
Are you lawful neutral?
Yes,
Oh.
because I'm a cleric of knowledge, so I am not necessarily good, but I am lawful neutral.
Oh, okay. I did not. I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit because I think when we talked about it last time, I was assuming we didn't have any lawful neutral party members, but that's fine. Bearing in mind though that this candle does have to sit in a spot, like
Oh, it has
you
to-
can't like hold
Oh.
it.
Oh man, darn.
Actually, maybe I'm overstating that. Maybe I don't know that that's true. That's just I don't know that it says that mechanically. It sounds like it makes sense to me, but I don't want to put that restriction on there if that's not intended when they created the magic item. Let's see. Lighting it requires an action.
Mhm.
I think okay, so it doesn't have to be in a spot, but if you're using it, you have to be holding it in one hand. So that means you're limited in that way.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, you go ahead and light it, and that's a 30-foot radius. But I think you're probably the only lawful neutral creature in the area. Okay, great.
Any
So
effect on people that are not lawful neutral?
no.
Okay,
No.
that's good.
As you are looking ahead here, mountains of junk fill countless acres of cursed dump. Debris range from simple trash to the ruins of massive structures to the blasted remains of mighty constructs. Felix quickly leads you through a series of trash canyons. These heaps are 20 feet tall. It is increasingly dark. Those of you who don't have dark vision,
Malleus,
although your candle that you just lit it gives off light. It gives dim light in a 30-foot radius.
Malleus, could you please light me up?
I don't have the light cantrip.
Oh,
I will.
I thought you did. Oh, okay.
Nope. Nope.
Radius,
Malleus is a tunnel gremlin. He has dark vision.
Oh,
Mhm.
Radius will put a hand on your pack and do the light cantrip.
Okay.
I'm the only person without dark vision in this
Hmm.
entire skeleton crew. I feel
Yeah.
what
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I don't think I have dark.
don't you?
Maybe. I might. But I don't think I do because I have light for a reason.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. So okay,
Fair
okay. I
enough.
don't feel
So
so
in
left
any
out.
case, we're not doing the dynamic lighting anyway, but you've got light around you. So, what's everyone's passive perception, real quick?
Uh,
14.
14.
13.
Okay.
yeah, 14.
So as you're making your way into this region, those of you who have 14 or higher hear from some of these puddles of awful smelling sludge. Um, you hear a like a bubbling and sort of a dirge like humming sound from the sludge.
Nikau's gonna hold up his hand, yeah, signaling a pause. Look, try and look or listen for the source of it. See if like it's in one particular direction, and if he can find it, he will steer us in away from it.
Okay. I mean, you can't really steer away from it because this is the dragon skull where you're trying to go, where it's right by
Right.
those pools of sludge.
Well,
Oh,
good check
Oh,
it
we're
out.
gonna have to. Yep.
I'll whisper something near tunnel.
Affirmative. Actually, I don't. Actually, I didn't have 13, so I don't actually know. Noted.
I'll just uh hmm. We'll just creep up.
Mhm.
Creep up to
Okay.
the edge.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a stealth check if you're creeping up.
Yes.
Is that for everybody or just
Well,
Nika?
whoever's creeping up.
Yeah.
Figures 20.
All right. So if
I cannot roll today. 12.
okay. All right. So if you're creeping up, then you need to make a stealth check. If you're staying back
Yeah.
while someone else
Oh,
does
oh,
something, then you don't.
Oh no, I'm definitely creeping up. And
Okay.
I got a 12.
All right.
I will stay back with our charge.
Okay. Kneecap and Tarsus are creeping up. You don't detect any change as you do.
I'm gonna grab a random piece of junk and try and toss it in to like this area
Mm-hmm.
to see if there's a reaction.
Okay. As you do, there's suddenly a thrashing under the surface. Um, oh, hang on. There we go. Um, and a big a large creature with big large sharp teeth and strange little tentacles all over its body sort of lurches out of the sludge and slaps at whatever the little splash was, and then one of the tentacles sort of like picks it up and sees that it's a little bit of junk and then tosses it, but then as it turns, it seems to become aware uh, of you and suddenly starts going, "Brr, not there,
Hmm.
and it seems to be speaking a language that you almost certainly don't understand unless you have somehow all languages. It is speaking Otiug, which I don't think anyone has.
No, I do not have OT.
Yeah. But it is doing that in an aggressive way, and as it starts to do that, another one breaches the surface over here.
Aha.
Oh boy.
Fun stuff.
Hmm.
We need a bard. I have the wrong character for this.
Hmm.
Wow.
It kind
I'll-
of moves forward a little bit and repeats whatever it was trying to say.
I will try Infernal. Please let us pass.
Make a perception or a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Head.
Um, yeah, it does not seem to really react to that other than by repeating what it's trying to say. And the other one is kind of creeping around this way.
Guys, are we going? Are we going for the violence now?
I think we're gonna have to, unless we can outrace him.
We got two of them.
But I don't think Fellick can.
No.
I am going to preemptively cast Bless. Let's see. Let me see. There's 5 of us here, so I'm going to cast it at 3rd level so that we're all affected, including um, including our charge.
All right, nice. So you do that, and it goes off without a hitch, and then we're gonna roll initiative because you're doing stuff and they don't like it.
Yes, they don't. Yes, they don't.
Okay.
All right.
Let's have some battle. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. Okay. Looks like we need. Let's see. Okay, that's 16 for Fellick. Almost certainly has lower than Otyug. Actually, what does the Otyug's? Okay. Otyug's dex is the same. Okay, so I'm going to roll another two d20s. The first is for Fellick, then the Otyug. Okay, so Otyug gets to go ahead of Fellick. All right, stop. Okay, we need a dex off between Radius and Cuspid.
I have 14.
Radius is Cuspid is 12.
Okay.
But actually, no, Cuspid is 14.
Okay,
Oh.
well, both of you roll another d20 then.
17.
16. Boy, as
All
close
right.
as we can get without being the same.
Okay. Okay. Kneecap, you are up first. As they were already acting kind of hostile and aggressive, but as soon as Cuspid casts this spell, they seem to react with rage. And they look like they're about to do something, but you're the
Wow.
first to act.
If they react with rage,
Mm-hmm.
then Kneecap is also going to react with rage.
Seems reasonable.
So I my I my limbs extend just a little bit. My little horns grow a bit more, and Kneecap is going to charge at this one, and I'm gonna try and swing with my flail.
Okay.
So 22.
All right. Hits.
That's 11 damage.
Okay.
23
Mm-hmm.
for 9 damage.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. Yeah, you tear a couple of wounds into this thing's tough hide. All right, Tarsus.
Okay. All types are not monstrosities or aberrations, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I have favored for monstrosities, but not aberrations, which should have been helpful here. But anyway, I will enchant a arrow for force, and I will shoot my first arrow at the same one that Kneecap is going after. So let's shoot an arrow with force action goodness. That is an 18.
You were attacking the same one that Kneecap was.
Yes.
Yeah, 18 hits.
Okay. So that. So a total of 11 force damage
All right.
for that shot. And now I will have a regular shot. Non-force damage. It should hit. That's also an 18.
Mm-hmm.
That is five piercing damage.
All right.
And I will move to here.
Okay. So that makes it the Otyug's turn. So the one that is up there by Kneecap is first going to try to bite you. It gets an 11 to hit, which I don't think hits.
Yes.
So then it's going to lash out at you with its tentacles. The first one is a 14 to hit.
Miss.
The second one is a 13 to hit.
Also miss.
All right.
Nice.
The other one is moving up to you, Tarsus.
Yeah, I did want to go after our magic users or our charge.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm
It's
making-
a Baker's 20 to hit.
that'll hit me for sure.
So that's 9 piercing damage, and I need
Okay.
you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, good Lord in heaven.
Oh
is
wait,
this poison?
It is against disease.
I have poisonous disease on my hold on for a second. Let me look my features and traits.
Crap, I do not have.
I immune to disease.
Okay, well you do not have to make that save then. Just the 9 piercing damage.
Yeah,
then.
perfect. This works perfect.
Nice.
Okay, nice. Okay.
All right, so but then it tries to hit you with a tentacle. Gets
Ow.
a 17 to hit.
That will hit me. I'm not very armored,
Yeah.
guys.
That's going to be 7 bludgeoning, and also you realize the end of its tentacle has little toothy spikes on it. So it's 7 bludgeoning and 3 piercing, and you are grappled by it. You are restrained until the grapple ends.
Oh, okay. This was maybe not such a great point I had ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it moves up here, and it's going to try. It's going to use its second tentacle attack against Kneecap, but it only gets an 11.
Miss.
All right. So that's the Otyug's turn. It is Felix's turn, and whoa. Felix's turn, and he is going to kind of run up and kind of hide up here.
Good job.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
Radius.
Alrighty. Let's see. Can I hit them and not get our friend? Some way, shape, or form. Okay. Well,
I mean, if something's an area of effect that's going to hit both OTX, it's going to hit.
Well, what?
Okay.
What?
yeah,
Is it a 20-foot square? Is that what you're doing?
yeah. I was gonna cast web.
Well, what you were making was bigger than that. You were doing like a
Okay.
40-foot square because you were treating it like a radius. So a 20-foot is basically 4 squares by 4 squares.
Yeah, and if you angle it, you could get sides of these guys, and not.
Yeah, I want to angle it so I can get those two. So basically, the web will probably stop right in front of Kneecap, or the line of it will anyway.
Yeah. I feel like I'm usually not used to 20-foot squares being allowed to be like rotated against the grid, but I mean, I guess in principle there's not specifically a rule against it.
There is no
um
grid.
well, there is though. That's why, like,
Yeah.
there's certain
Yeah.
elements of real combat that are abstracted into the rules and it's meaningful.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'll allow it here. So what here? Let me demonstrate here. I'm gonna draw the size of the square, and then we can imagine that it is like rotated like this. You see my blue square, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
you can do that.
Yeah.
Does Webb say anything about size of the creature?
Let's see. A creature. No, it doesn't say. It just says each creature.
Okay. Um, sorry, I
If
ask you and then
yeah.
I'm double checking it too because yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm just used to
yeah.
spells like that having some sort of size restriction, although it doesn't in this case look like it does. So you cast Web, and they are going to, when they start their turn, they will make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
That is how it works. They don't make it right now. They do it on their turn.
Yep. And that'll be my
Okay, Cuspid. Also, I
Yeah.
just realized that I don't know that either Kneecap or Tarsus added the bless to their attacks. But
Well,
remember
it
to do
already
that.
hit, so
Yeah, I
Yeah, I was
know,
going to
but
say,
Yeah.
you're
I'll
right, I should
remember.
remember. Yes.
yes.
Yes. Remember. I'm going to step up to Tarsus
Uh-huh.
and cast a Cure Wounds at 2nd level.
I'll take that. Thank you.
Um, and
How much I get?
it did not like. Ah, there we go. Beyond 20 says not recognizing the current open sidebar.
Mm,
Oh God,
So
that's not good.
I'll roll it over here.
okay. Also worth noting as you're curing Tarsus's wounds is that he's being held aloft, gripped in the talons
Oh
of
no,
this.
I know that.
That's
You're
another
like,
problem entirely.
grab his foot.
Yep,
Guys,
exactly. So,
Oh.
14, 14 points, and I'm going to use my um, uh, div- uh,
Sure.
a sorcery point to re-roll one of the three.
Okay.
So it's actually 19 points.
Wow, I'm almost back up to full. Thank you.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that will be enough for now.
Okay.
Right.
Malleus.
Okay, so this pile of actually, now that I'm thinking about it, does Malleus actually want to get his clothes dirty with the big pile of smelly garbage?
Mm,
I
nice
think
point
that's
to
going to be
know.
a no. I think that's going to be a no. So he's going to get out of Radius's way,
Mm-hmm.
and as an action, he is going to produce his Eldritch Cannon as its small size right here next to Tarsus.
Okay. And I feel like we kept talking about this. Did I actually make something to be your cannon yet? I didn't.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It could just be a circle or an oblong or whatever.
I know. I this is how many in a row now where I keep saying, "Oh, I meant to do that," and then I didn't.
Yeah. I
Um.
wanted to have little corgi feet so we could just import a picture of Rocket.
Actually, hang on. That makes me.
Gosh, just imagining rocket belching fire.
Oh dear God.
There are
I
some
mean-
corgi tokens, but I would have to buy them. I'm not going to do that right now.
No.
I'm going to grab. This is just a little rabbit person token that's just going to be the stand-in.
Okay. We'll figure out something.
All right, so this is your little cannon guy.
All right. So bonus action flamethrower.
Okay.
It has to make a It has to make a dex saving throw of 16, or it gets 2d8 fire damage.
Okay. It is going to make a dex saving throw. It is not restrained yet because it hasn't had its turn, which is some nuanced shit, but like you kind of have to go by how the rules work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, order operations.
Okay, so it makes its dex save and gets a 7.
Okay. Which is a grand total of 7 points of fire damage.
Okay, what is the size of the cone that it does?
15 foot?
No. Cannon exhales and is it 50-foot? Yeah, 15-foot cone.
Okay.
That you designate. Each creature in that area must make the dexterity save.
Okay.
So that's why I put him right there.
Yeah, it fails the save, so it will take 7 points of fire damage, but it also the fire burns away those 3
Right.
squares worth of the webs.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
the creature caught in it takes damage from the
Yeah. So yeah, it burns away in 1 round, dealing 2d4 to any creature that starts its turn in the fire. So that's going to be all right. Yeah. Okay. That's Malleus's turn. Kneecap.
Okay, well, Kneecap is going to go.
Oh, just one note before you start. We're at the top of the initiative and we're after 10. Would everyone like to just cliffhanger this, or do you want to write out this encounter?
I'm fine either way.
I'd
Yeah,
like to write out the encounter.
Okay.
Yeah, let's finish this
kill,
up.
let's kill all topics.
All right.
Okay,
Kneecap.
so that is a 10. Try D4. 14.
14 does hit. 14 just hits.
Okay, and that is 7 damage.
All right.
Second flail attack is a 15.
15 hits, yeah.
For 13 damage. And then my sickle is 17 for 4 damage.
All right.
Nice.
And just whirling dervish of
Sure.
no.
It's looking bloodied now. All right, Tarsus, you're up, although you are currently restrained in this thing's tentacle.
Yes, I am. Now, OGM, can I Misty Step out of this tentacle?
Sure.
Okay, I am going to cast Misty Step,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to pop up here. That's my bonus action,
Mhm.
and I will just fire. Now I can't make them into force, but I think I need them into force, so I will just shoot arrows at this Autog that the temerity to grapple me. So
Mhm.
attack number 1 is a 21.
Okay.
So that is 6 piercing damage. And attack number 2, 27.
Mm-hmm.
For 8 more damage.
Okay.
Enjoy that. Enjoy. Enjoy.
All right. It doesn't enjoy it. It doesn't like it. All right. So it is now the OTG's turn. each of them are going to start with their dexterity save against the web. The first one gets a 13, and the second one gets an 18. What was the DC for the web radius?
It is 14.
Okay, so this lower one here is restrained in the web. The upper one is not. The one that is currently in the web that's on fire is going to take 2d4 fire damage. I'll just roll that.
The text seems to say that they take damage whether they save or not.
Okay, well, I'm having them take the damage.
Okay.
The one that's in the fire is the one that failed to save, so it's moot.
Okay.
But yes, he's taking the damage. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, but the one that is restrained, it just has to use its action. Yeah, it's going to try to make a strength check to break out of that, out of the web.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a 17, so it is able to, it is able to pull free from the web, kind of climb partly onto this little pile, and then it is going to try to bite your arcane cannon, Malleus.
Okay.
I was expecting going after me, but okay.
No.
Yeah, the arcane cannon has an AC, arcane cannon,
Yeah.
AC of
Uh,
18.
Okay, so it got a 15, and so I think it cracked some of its teeth on that. And then it's going to do one tentacle against the cannon. Gets a 25 to hit,
Oh
All
man.
right, that hits.
6 bludgeoning, and 1 piercing.
All right,
And
so that's 7.
and the cannon is grappled. And then the other tentacle is against
Oh no,
against
not
Cuspid.
no.
Okay.
23 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
5 bludgeoning and 6 piercing. So 11 total damage.
Okay. And I need to make a Constitution save for
The bless, yeah.
For the bless.
Mhm.
That is only a. I don't know why it didn't give me my Constitution bonus. That's a 9.
Okay.
Um,
A 9 is not enough, unfortunately.
Oh no.
so the bless goes away.
Mhm.
Wait, hold on. I get
Huh?
a plus D4 on saving throws.
Yeah, you
Oh,
have
you
it.
sure
Oh
do.
right,
Yeah,
you're right.
uh-huh.
Bless works on bless.
And I think
So-
a 1 would even be enough,
yep,
which is good
mhm.
because that's what you got.
Oh.
So,
No,
all right, bless is still.
bless protects itself.
Yeah. So, but you are still restrained in the
You're still
thing's
restrained.
tentacle.
Yep.
The other one here is stepping out of the web. It was not restrained. It's going to try to bite Kneecap.
Mhm.
15 to hit.
Miss.
What is your AC again?
16.
16. All right. So tentacle. 14 to hit. Then
No.
critical fail.
Wow.
You're surprisingly hard to hit for a barbarian. All right,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, my
Poor
first
Rangers getting beat
my
up and the
first-
Rangers Barbarians not.
stat increase I pumped up my con, which
Yeah, no, I get. I'm not
so.
saying you did anything wrong. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
It's a really interesting build.
Yeah. All right. So the OTEGs did that. Felix' turn. He is continuing to hide and saying, I wish there's something I could do to help, but I don't want to distract or be a hindrance to you. So I'll stay out of the way.
You keep doing that.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah. Radius, your turn.
I will drop the web. What do I have?
It burned away this round on your turn, anyways.
Yeah.
I think not all
I
of
don't
it.
think-
It doesn't. It only the part that was in the corner that burned. It doesn't burn the whole
okay.
square. But if he drops,
I see.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Hmm. Um,
So right now,
Got
Cuspid
it.
and the Arcane Cannon are both grappled.
Mm.
and I don't know if I have any. If I have anything, you know what? Screw it. I will now cast slow on those two.
Okay. What save do they make?
It is a wisdom save.
All right. First one got a 6. Second one got a 5.
Wow.
Piece
Not
of
wise
Okay.
at all.
So they are easier to hit now, guys. -2 to AC.
Yeah, they're limited. They can only do one of their attacks per turn.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
All right. That's good. Are you doing anything else?
Nope.
All right. Cuspid, you are still
They
grappled,
also,
restrained.
yes. It also has a penalty to dexterity saving throws. So, uh, um, I'm going to cast Sacred Flame on it. Dexterity saving throw, DC
Okay.
15,
All right.
and I am
It
going
gets an
to.
8 with disadvantage.
Okay, I'm going to spend a sorcery point to heighten it, which will allow me to re-roll my damage dice.
Okay.
Um, and I'll re-roll the 3.
Okay.
Ah,
All right. Oh well,
6 points.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
6 points of radiant damage.
Okay. It thrashes you around with its tentacle.
Mhm.
Uh,
Not again.
Oh.
All right. Malleus.
Okay, so the cannon being grappled is not really a problem, except the fact that I could potentially hit Cuspid when it goes off.
Hmm.
That's
Or
okay.
Cuspid or kneecap.
Yeah.
I'm a tiefling, I have resistance to fire.
Okay.
And honestly, given given how given the fact I haven't been hit, it would not be too bad for kneecap.
Okay. So 15-foot cone, dexterity saving throw 16.
Okay. So. Um. Yeah. So basically, you can choose either cuspid or kneecap. One or the other has to get hit.
Um I'm
I'd
gonna
say
choose kneecap just to help him keep his rage up.
All right.
Bless.
That's
Uh,
interesting thought.
what was the DC?
16.
Oh, failed by 1.
All right. Yeah. The Otiug fails.
Ooh.
Yeah, so 14 total fire damage.
Okay. All right.
But your dress is so pretty. I don't want to mess it up.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
So
also, I didn't trigger a concentration
right.
check either.
So
Right.
but kneecap, you take the damage.
Yep,
Yeah.
took it.
All right. All right.
A crit
And let's see, for my actual action,
Uh
because
huh.
the thing is a I'm
bonus.
gonna hit it with a ray of frost.
Okay. Well, you're gonna try.
Yeah. Well, for 22,
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
for 11 points of cold damage.
All right.
Temperature differentials.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Kneecap.
Okay. Now, even crispier, I'm really ready for rage. So I'm going to go ahead and attack recklessly.
Okay.
That is 25 for 8 damage. 26 for
Mhm.
14 damage.
Okay.
And sickle. Ooh, crit.
Okay.
Nice.
And that is 8 damage.
All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So that is your turn, Tarsus.
Okay. So these things are still, this thing is still slowed, so it has
Mm-hmm.
a lower armor class. So I'm going to yes, Jason. I'm gonna try sharpshootering this thing with a force bolt. So
Mm-hmm.
I need to make a custom attack for this. Is that's probably the way you didn't Jason? I need to make a custom attack in D20. Anyway, so we'll just make this a -5 to this roll. So that's a
Okay.
20.
Yeah.
That's a dirty 20.
Nice.
Figures
Okay.
20.
Yeah.
Figures 20.
Yeah, force damage. Yeah, I need to make a count. So that's 12. That's 22 force damage on that.
All right. I think I did that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How's it looking?
I mean, it's bloodied.
All right. I'm gonna try it again with the regular arrow. Sharpshooter it again. Come on.
Can
Come
you
on,
do
big butts.
sharpshooter with every hit, or is it only once per turn?
Oh, that's a good question.
I, if I'm not mistaken, I think it is.
Sharpshooter.
I think it's
um,
every hit.
That's a critical on the roll, but
Yeah, it doesn't say there's a limitation to it.
hmm,
Before you make an attack with a ranged weapon, you can choose to take a -5 penalty attack to add
yeah.
+10 to
Okay.
damage.
Sure.
Okay, so
Mhm.
okay, so that's a crit.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah. The +10 is not doubled.
right. I'll still take it. All right. I roll 2 of these dice, and it has to be a minimum of the thing. Okay, which is the right. So that's 18 piercing damage.
18.
Um.
Oh.
Oh, no, 14, 24 piercing damage. My bad.
Yeah.
24 piercing.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Ha.
They're both looking pretty hurt now. It is their turn now.
It is their turn now.
The one that has got the arcane cannon and Cuspid grappled only has one attack, but it is going to use that to slam the cannon and Cuspid
Yeah.
into each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no.
Uh, both need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, with the extra D4.
Well, for Cuspid.
For Cuspid. For the cannon, it's just a 20.
Okay, well, 20 is a save, so
Well, no. What they
Okay.
roll is just a straight roll,
Okay.
but it's a 4.
okay.
Okay, I got a 12 plus 1D4
Okay.
is a 15.
15 is a save. So
Okay.
the cannon does not save. Cuspid does. That's okay. So the cannon is the cannon immune to stunned?
Let me check.
It's going to take 9 bludgeoning damage, and if it can be stunned, it is. Cuspid, you take 4 bludgeoning damage, and you're not stunned.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm honestly looking at how that actually it's actually not a very good attack from the Otiak. I'm looking at it just from a balanced perspective because it takes its whole action instead of getting to make 3 attacks that can do more damage each.
But it's slowed.
but even so, it
Right,
should have
yeah.
done one.
But I'm
attack
just
instead,
saying
yeah.
that like if it wasn't slowed, it wouldn't make any sense to do that even though the thing is built to do it.
Except,
Yeah, I
well,
see
except
what
for
you're
the
saying.
stun. The stun is
Yeah.
an action economy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the apparently it can be. It's
Okay.
the cannon is immune to poison damage or psychic damage, but it
Mhm.
does not say stunned.
Okay, so it is stunned then.
Okay.
You rang the cannon's bell.
Yeah. Okay, and then the other one is up there with Kneecap, and it's going to make its attack with advantage because of Kneecap's reckless attacks.
Yep.
And it's going to try to bite you with advantage. Gets a 25 to hit,
That does hit.
6
Oh.
piercing damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw against disease.
Oh no. You've been so lucky so far.
Con save.
He's probably good at those.
Yeah, I'm decent. 21.
Yeah, that's a save. So just the piercing damage then. Okay, so that is the Otiog's turn. Felix is continuing to hide. Radius.
Okay.
Alrighty, they are still slow, but I will magic.
Oh wait, no, they get to make saves against the slow.
Yeah, wisdom save at the end. Yeah.
And
They get
Phyllis.
a crit and a 3 respectively. So the first one here is no longer slowed.
Oh.
And is that one of the ones that looks bloodied, or are they both?
They're both bloodied.
Okay.
And
Then-
doesn't Nobilis need to make concentration?
Already did.
Okay. Okay.
What is that? Oh, that's a third level. No.
It didn't show up in the chat because I've been using Firefox instead of Chrome, so
Ah.
the,
Okay.
the
I,
Beyond 20 extension wasn't working.
I'll just go ahead and cast magic missile.
Okay. And how are you dividing those?
It'll just all of them will be on the one that is not slowed.
Okay.
Did it just? No, it didn't.
Well, they automatically hit. You just roll for damage.
Right. Roll a d4.
Oh, darn, it's not doing it again. All right, let me try it in here.
Thank you, technology.
Yep. So that is 3 points.
Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9. They hit the Otiog. It is not down yet, but it is very hurt.
That'll be my turn.
Okay. Cuspid.
Yeah, because because of this this restrained condition, I'm better off with the sacred flame. So I'm going to cast that again at dexterity save 15.
Okay, this one is no longer at disadvantage, but it's not super dexterous. It got a 15 exactly.
Oh well.
All right. Okay, Malleus. I think your cannon being stunned means that it's
Doesn't have this.
yeah.
Can't use it. Okay, so in that case, I am going to cast a scorching ray at this Otiog that
Okay.
has Cuspid.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if I can hit the broadside of a barn.
Mm-hmm.
It is the
And
birth
the
of a
answer
barn.
is 12. So
12
no.
does not hit the non-slowed
Add your
one.
d4.
Add your bless.
Yeah.
Such a bless.
Oh, add the bless. Okay, so that's 12. Add a d4. So that makes it a 16.
Does hit then.
There you
Does
go.
hit. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. On a hit takes for each ray. I have to make a ranged spell attack for each ray.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
So
You hit
that
with the
first
first
one-
one. Roll damage.
that's 4.
Okay, that one goes down.
The OTO goes down?
Yes.
Okay. Yay.
And releases your cannon and Cuspid from its tentacles.
Okay. And it has a range of 120 feet. Can I see this other one?
I think it's behind the pile from where you are, but I'll let you move.
Okay. All right. I don't want to get too close.
Mhm.
I'll get here.
Mhm.
All right. So next one.
Mhm.
That's a 16 to hit.
Mhm.
Also hits.
Yep.
All right. That's a great big whopping 5.
Mhm.
And third one is a 21 to hit, which
Uh-huh.
is much better with a great big whopping 6.
Okay. It's pretty hurt, but it's not down.
Okay.
Okay. Kneecap.
Okay. Gonna go reckless again. Let me get to the right screen. That is a 23 for 13 damage.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like I need to look at your build because I feel like you roll above 20 80% of the time, it feels like. All right, sorry, that's maybe just my own like yeah, okay. It's just fine. It's fine. I just can't see your rolls like everyone else. It's all right.
Oh.
I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm
Okay.
sorry if it came across that way. That's not what I mean. I'm just all right. A lot of high rolls is all.
Try to do the
Okay.
next one.
Yeah. Well, no. How do you dispatch this creature?
Okay,
You killed
so
it with that one. Yeah.
I'm going. So it's gonna be just a, you know, get the flail head going up, and just poof up into the top of its mouth, and just
All right. Okay, yeah. So they've both collapsed to the ground, and they sink into the sludge. And I think as you all are catching your breath, you look up to this enormous scrap metal dragon skull sculpture, and the eye hole, which promises a tunnel beyond. But following through on that will be a step that you take when we return next week on so many levels.
So many levels.
All right. All right. Let me, where's my thing? Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.